What did you make of that, Jordan? Pretty spirited hitter?
Yeah, it was. We've probably had 4 or 5 decent cracks at our match sim stuff over the last sort of 6 or 7 weeks. And every week we're seeing some improvement. The ability to be able to chop and change the sides as well is something that we've been big on to get everyone a go in sort of the blue team as such. But what we're finding is the system sort of holding up depending on who comes in and out, which is a really positive for us as a group.
Who caught your eye out there today? Obviously, fans are all out there today.
Yeah,
Good turnout.
yeah.
So
Well, big X in the ruck. It was pretty aggressive. Started off with the first couple of stoppages where he's put a couple of the oppo mids on their back. We love to see that, and he's taken a step forward with his pre-season. I'm probably concentrating on the mids a lot. The ability for Cunners to go forward and hit the scoreboard. Huey Greenwood's been able to do the same thing. Young Tommy Powell's probably stepped up with his muscle size and his bodywork and craft around the inside of the stoppages has been a positive as well. So from a midfield point of view, it's really exciting.
Just with Cunners there, like going forward, 3 I think today as well. Is that something we'll see in like a 60-40 split potentially, given that you've got a bit of midfield depth there now?
Yeah, we're not sure. We've sort of tinkered around with bits and pieces. What we have seen is his ability to hit the scoreboard. I think in the 4 match sims that we've done, he's probably kicked 10 or 12 goals. So if he keeps doing that, we might spend a bit more time down forward. But we love him in and around the contest, and we think that's where his biggest strength is.
At this stage, what do you see starting midfield as? There's a lot of young guys that rolled through there and looked really solid, but those guys were great again.
It's a really good question. If you've got the answers, can you let me know? It will be some really hard decisions to make. What Clarko's brought in is around Jai being able to play wing, being able to play as a high half forward. Cunner's being able to spend some time forward. So I couldn't tell you exactly what it looks like now. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks we'll see the best rise through, but it's a great problem to have when you've got 6 or 7 guys who can run through there.
Are we likely to see Will Phillips in that?
He's had a really good pre-season. The last 4 games I keep mentioning, he's been a really solid contributor. His ability to go forward, you saw a little bit more today, was exciting, so he's certainly in the mix.
Cam Zerha looks like he's trimmed down a little bit as well. Is he another that will spend a bit of time through the mids and did again today?
Yeah, he's spending a bit more time at centre bounces, specifically, with his body power and strength and his ability to burst out of the stoppage as well. He's shown us that he could probably spend a bit more time in there. What we don't want to lose is his firepower up forward. So for him to be able to go both is really exciting for us.
PC looked lively today.
Yeah.
Have you seen his pre-season?
He's a strong bugger for a second year player. You would have seen him fend off 3 or 4 different occasions. He bench presses extremely heavy. So he's just working on his fitness in his tank. At some stage you'll probably see him up around the contest for a little period of time, but for him to get in there, give us a spark and then burst out and get forward, it's a strength.
How do your talls line up, particularly in the forward line in round 1? Like you've got Larky, that's probably a lock, and you've got Common, and who played well today, and Coleman Jones, who sort of was improved today.
Yep.
Who's sort of the top 2 there?
Yeah, well, I'm being diplomatic with you. We're not too sure, but what we are seeing is when CJ comes in and plays in the blue team, he hits a scoreboard, he creates a contest, he helps on ground level, and Big Chomper, Charlie Common's doing exactly the same thing. So the mix will probably be maybe 2 talls with a couple of the hybrids, but we're not too sure because they're all playing some pretty good footy.
Just on the guys who didn't play, who's ruled? There's obviously a couple that are ruled out for round 1, but
yeah.
Goda, what's going on with Goda and Shields? Obviously, was that just a conditioning thing as well? Because he seemed like he'd been going right prior to.
Yeah, it's about sort of keeping as many on the park as possible and giving guys a bit of a rest here and there. Like Shields has done a mountain of work, and we don't want to have him playing 4 or 3 big games. So he's one that'll be there or thereabouts next week. Darcy Tucker's due to come back and play some footy. Curtis Taylor, Aaron Hall. So you look at the rehab group this morning, and there's sort of 4 or 5 guys who could slot straight into the 22 from last year anyway, which again is it's powerful for us as a group and a squad to be able to have that depth.
Is Goda all right? Is he?
Yeah.
Just a few little niggles the reason he didn't play today.
Yeah, not so much. He's just, well, what's the point in he's a power athlete, and there's no point in exposing him if he is feeling a little bit tight. So he'll be right to go next week.
Griffin looked like he wanted to play more. He said he's ready to play a full game next week. what's he going to bring to the table as well? It's really going to help you back there, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, him and Buckets Mackay, the combo of them is pretty damaging in terms of an aerial prowess and marking the footy point of view. But his leadership already, he's only been here for 3 or 4 months, but he's actually only been on the track for a couple of weeks full time, and you can see how quickly he's slotted into the system, which is great.
Paul Curtis was really impressive today.
He's exciting, as we spoke about just before. Like his power in and around the contest, whether that be forward or as a mid, is exciting, and his ability then to get out quickly. He can sniff a forward transition. He gets on his bike really quickly to support the next contest. And when he gets to the footy, something special generally happens. So he's going really well at the minute.